Everybody has a story. We all have a story. I have a story. You have a story. Everybody has a story. The question is, how are you living out that story? Are you... is your story about the faded years of yesterday? All your faded dreams? Or are you living out all the woulda, coulda, shouldas of the past? Is that what your story is? It doesn't have to be that way at all. We can start a new story at any time. And so tonight on the Hangout with Penny show, my co-host and I are going to share with you ways to change your story. We're going to inspire you and empower you and uplift you so you can become the champion of your story. Because the story we tell ourselves today is what we're going to live today, but what we're going to live tomorrow. So we want ours to be the best story imaginable, because I tell you, when you start dreaming big, when the law of attraction starts matching up and aligning you with what those desires are, it's just more than you can even imagine. So tonight on the Hangout with Penny show, I have I'm excited about my co-host tonight. He is an amazing, amazing man. So I'll bring him out to introduce himself in just a few minutes. So you're watching episode 18 of the Hangout with Penny show. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for making this. Many of you have been making the Hangout with Penny show a habit. You've been watching me faithfully for the last 17 shows, leaving comments, encouraging me, thanking me, and, well, I just want to thank you because, yeah, we're here together, and whatever I can do to help you, and it helps me, so I'm excited. So, for those of you that have been making the Hangout with Penny show a habit, you know for the last 17 episodes, one of the things I love to do is share wine with you. But you know what? Tonight, it's a celebration, and I have champagne. Last night, I was out, and we were celebrating. Look it. We were celebrating. We were having champagne. We were just really celebrating all the wonderful things that's in our lives and just being really appreciative. And so we had champagne. So I had some left over, and it's called... I don't really know how to say it. Patika. Oh, I don't even know if you can see it. There you go. Rose gold. So, if you're going to dream big, may as well do it with some champagne. So, cheers, everybody. Oh, yeah. We like champagne. So, my name is Peddie, and I am the host of the Hangout with Penny show. And the reason I started this show was because my life wasn't always great, and I know what it was like to be one of these people to be alone on Friday nights and to feel sad, but I decided it was time to do something about it, and I started changing my life. And so I'm here to encourage and inspire and uplift you to be able to live your best life too. And that was my intention when I started these shows, and I'm loving it. So thank you for being a part of my Friday night. So I just really want to get into the show because my guest tonight is an amazing, amazing guy, and he has an amazing story, and he's going to share with us what he did with his story and what he does now. And it's just amazing what this man has been doing with his life and what he's been doing with our youth and what he's been doing with businesses. He's just an incredible man. So, Nick, come on out. Tell people. I know you're a fellow Canadian, so come on out. Tell people where you're from and what you do and just a little bit about yourself for now. Thanks.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much, Penny, and I really appreciate the opportunity here to talk with you. Where am I from? I'm living in St. John, New Brunswick, which is on the east coast of Canada. I have lived in Toronto, and I've also lived in Calgary, so I've lived in many different parts of Canada, which is cool because I've got to see different parts and different ways of life in here in our country. I'm a youth speaker, and I'm on a mission to help teens connect to themselves and help adults connect to their teens, which is something that's missing so much in the family core right now. So I'm really passionate, really excited to do what I do, and I can't wait to share more information on the show.
Awesome, awesome. Because especially, I just commend you because being able to go out there and teach our youth, because our youth are our future, and so you get them on the right path. And I know you go all across the country, and so yeah, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to talk about dreaming big.
All right, let's do it. I love it. Yeah.
Dreaming big. I say dream bigger because many times, Nick, you know, many times people don't even know how to dream anymore because they've had a dream or they've had their story and something's crushed it, whether they've been in a loving relationship and all of a sudden one partner's gone, they just leave, and so the other person crushed, or, you know, there's been a death and then the other one's left on their own, or there's just so many stories, and then we get stuck in the way we wanted it to be. And it's hard to fathom that there can be another way. So, Nick, I know that you have a story to share. I'm hoping you'll share because it would be very encouraging for people to know that at any time we can change our story. So, are you willing to come out and share a story about? I mean, you used to be a rapper, and you had to hit the music out there, and you're not doing that now. So, something changed in your story. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, listen, guys, 4 years ago, I was living in one of the worst neighborhoods in Canada, Jane and Finch in Toronto. And I was living in a house with 16 other guys, right? It was project-style housing. I had a room, when I spread my hands out like this, I could touch both sides of the room. I had a wall that didn't even go right up to the ceiling. It literally had holes in the ceilings. And Penny, I'll tell you something. You know, this is a mature audience, so yes. There was a gentleman next door to me who lived in a small room there, and he had all kinds of ladies of the night coming through at all hours of the night, and I got to see everything via shadows on my wall because of the holes and the lights that would be on. So as you can imagine, I'm not living in the greatest place, and it's at this time I really start to ask myself, and, you know, what is it, why am I here? Like, why am I here in this place? What got me to this place? And it's funny, when you start to ask yourself certain questions and you start to change the questions you ask yourself, it starts to give yourself, you start to put yourself on a journey without even knowing that you're on a journey, but you just kind of start walking it because you know, subconsciously you begin to search for the answers to these questions. But essentially, a couple years before I was living in that neighborhood, in that house, I was the #1 independent hip-hop touring artist in the country. I was playing 20 to 30 shows per month when hip-hop artists at the time could barely get booked 4 or 5 times a night. And I was on radio, and I had a cool music video, and I had a cool CD out, and I was selling records, and I was selling T-shirts. And things were looking really prosperous for me. However, as I was going on my journey, I hit a certain context, like almost like a glass ceiling. So I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but maybe you're going on a goal. Like everybody knows, like the resolutioners, right? The New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
This is the year that I'm getting in shape.
Yes.
And then they get started. And then 2 weeks later, you know, you're thinking, what gym membership? No, I don't have a gym membership, right?
Oh,
and you're part of the gym charity club, right? You pay the monthly fee but never show up. And this happens to so many of us, and we don't understand why. But what actually happens is that we all have an internal context, an internal space that we occupy. And depending on our past experiences, depending on our belief systems, depending on a whole variety of factors, we develop what we call stories or beliefs. And our results, as you know, match up with our belief system. So what happened as I started to gain success as a rapper, I hit my context, and then I begin to self-sabotage. So instead of staying focused, instead of saying dedicated, instead of saying determined and focused on my goal, I began to party and I began to do all kinds of drugs. And eventually my radio came off single, my single came off radio. And eventually the promoter stopped calling. And I ended up in the worst neighborhood in the country. You know, and I was popping pills and I was smoking it and I was doing this and I was doing that just to fill that void. You know, that emptiness, that void sometimes that we feel, like you said, when something negative happens in our life. And it was because I lost my identity. I didn't know who I was. And I didn't have a purpose. Everything that I thought was so real was gone. And it was after that time I thought to myself, I got to get back in the game. I got to do something here. So what I did was I ended up making a few phone calls to try to get myself back into the music industry. And it was during that I got an opportunity to hook up into a studio with a buddy of mine. And on my way to the studio, I was high. And I ended up in a head-on collision, a car crash. And this is where, you know, no matter what you're going through, this is what you got to know about our universe. It is looking after you, but if you don't wake up to your life, life is going to wake you up. And so it woke me up with a car crash. But that was the day, Penny, that my miracle came. See, sometimes I get why it's so hard to recognize blessings and miracles, because we expect them to come with big shiny lights that say, hey, I'm the miracle, I'm the blessing, I'm the opportunity to change your life. But my miracle came in such a small, almost seemingly insignificant way. It was 2 hours after my car crash, and I'm on I'm at my parents' house. I'm laying on the couch. I'm all bandaged up on my knee, and I'm all like, oh, you know, I'm playing the victim.
Pity party,
you know,
yeah.
Oh yeah, oh, and poor me. I'm doing the whole nine. My brother comes over, and he's being compassionate, and you know what happened, da da da. And out of my mouth comes this verbal diarrhea, this nonsense, essentially. It was Penny, I'm just going to say what it was. It was bullshit.
Hey, perfect. We've all gone through that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was complete nonsense. It was like, oh, Kevin, only if we had some more money. Kevin's my older brother. Oh, Kevin, only if we had some more money. Only if the label pushed me more. How come this? How come that? But see, I don't know what happened to me. I don't know if you've ever experienced that moment of stillness. See, when I hit the other car head on, there was this moment where the world stopped. And I just sat there. Time itself stopped. And it sparked a new life in me, right? People will call this a rebirth or born again or, you know, whatever you call it.
A second chance.
Second shot at life. And I've had many. I've had very significant transformational moments. That was one of them. And it began the journey of where I'm at now, because it was after me telling my brother all of this nonsense, I heard myself for the first time. I had that awareness. And something inside of me said, Nick, that's bullshit. What you're saying is a lie. And I started to recognize my own excuses as a lie and began to distance my own self from my own mind. I began to live more in my heart rather than in my head. It was about 4 years ago, and it's been a complete journey. And I've put tons of effort, time, and dedication. I make no mistake that I am happy, passionate, loving life, seeing success, helping other people see the same thing, and I'm very blessed to do it. And it's been very, very intentional. But it started with a spark of self-awareness. So that's where everybody's got to get to that point.
Absolutely. Self-awareness is so important. And you had to go through what you went through to get to that point, but you figured that out yourself. I would have to say, when like I went through a divorce, and so I kind of went through the pity party, oh poor me, and I remember sitting at downstairs at my friend's place one day, and she said to me, like, when are you going to start doing something about your life instead of just talking about it? And it was those words, right? It was those words that was an aware, like, it kind of hurt my feelings at first, because I'm like, I wanted someone to feel sorry for me. It's like, what do you mean? But after, I start to reflect on that, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is so right. When am I going to start doing something with my life? Because this is not working this way, right?
Yeah. There's a beautiful quote that says, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off.
Oh my gosh, I love that, because it does.
As a coach, I tell people I work with, listen, if I'm not pissing you off, I'm not doing my job. Right? Because you have to confront yourself and look at the truth and see, holy smokes, this is really who I am.
I'm glad you said that about confronting yourself, because through my coaching practice and with my law of attraction training, many people, they have that I've experienced along my journey, is they have this fear of dreaming big. They have this fear that they'll never get it, so why bother? So it's oh, what am I trying to say? Have you noticed that with people yourself, Nick, that people are actually afraid to dream big? They're afraid to go after what it is they want because of the fear of not getting it?
Yeah, there's so much that, I mean, that it's such a big topic of why people are afraid to dream big. One, yes, rejection, the fear of failure, right? I'm not good enough. The fear of failure, if you're fearing failure, that is a symptom, not a problem. And the symptom is an internal acceptance and understanding that you are perfect, capable, whole, complete as you are, but you have a delusional mind that says that you're not, and that mind is from mom and dad and society and a school system, a school system that currently is designed to keep you playing small, meaning fit the status quo. So I'm a youth speaker. Right, like right. This is my main thing. Is I go into schools and I speak to kids, teenagers, middle school and high school specifically, and I end my talk, my speech, and I come and I rap and I do all this stuff, right? But I end it with a story of David and Goliath, and I tell the story of David and Goliath, and I tell the story of David chopping the giant's head off. And being like, woo, right? Like I'm David now, right? And then I present a question to the audience, to these teenagers, and say, what do you get if you kill your giant? What do you get if you slay your giant? And do you know what your giant is? Your giant is conformity. That is your giant. Your giant is conformity. Your giant is going to be the need for somebody else to accept you. But when you look in the mirror, accept yourself fully, you will understand that there is nothing that you need. Everything that you need, you already have. Now just choose what life you want to live and go live it.
And go live it.
And just go live it. And don't forget anybody else, because you will naturally attract the people that are on your wavelength or on your vibe, right? And they will come to support your mission, your goal, and you will support theirs. It will be a beautiful exchange.
Yes.
And so our biggest reason why we don't, from my perspective, the biggest reason that we do not think big is because we are afraid to be rejected especially by our own friends and family. No, you can't do that, show Penny. Come on now.
Watch
You know there's better. You're right. Yeah. You know there's better ways to spend your Friday night. You're right. You know what? It's nonsense. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons. And so people, even though they want to dream big, they don't verbalize it.
Right.
And then eventually, over time, as you get older, you believe your own limits. You start to say things like, "Well, Nick, I hear this one because I'm young. Nick, you're young. You know, when you're my age,
yes,
that's that you'll understand." I was like, "No, I will not. I will not. I promise you, because I know it has nothing to do with age. Everybody that I coach, work with personally, they're all older than me, 40, 50, 60. Because this doesn't matter about age. Age is such a non-relevant. It's such a non-relevant conversation.
Exactly, I know. But that's why I admire you so much, and I just wanted to have you on my show because it's so important that we do teach our youth this, that we can start dreaming big. And gone are the days where it's like, okay, you're going to go to school, then you're going to go to college, then you're going to meet your girlfriend, boyfriend, then you're going to get married, then you're going to work at the same job for 30 years, and then you're going to retire, and then that's it. Like, it's just like you said, they conform, when there's so much life to live out there. And I love how you go out and you're inspiring them to, like, what is it that you love? What is it that you love? And you're so right, because from a law of attraction perspective, once you put that motion once you make that first step, you're so right. Things will line up. Opportunities will show up. People will show up. All these different ideas are going to start flowing to you to help that dream come true. So we encourage everybody listening, dream big, because dreams come true. And so... So you're gonna say something, Nick?
Yeah. I wanted to say too that what you're saying is absolutely dead on. And when you first dream big, there may be like kind of this piece where you go, well, I don't really believe it. Okay, so I wanted to touch to whoever's listening. They're like, okay, I'm gonna expand myself. I'm gonna allow myself to dream bigger. So let's say you have a goal. Let's say your goal in 2015 is to make $100,000. Well, stretch yourself and say you're going to make 250. Say you're going to make $1 million. But then there's this little voice that pops in and says, yeah, but you never really done that before. Maybe you need to work your way up, blah, 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 right? All this kind of nonsense, right? So there's this piece where you don't believe it. So specifically, you got to start to build legs of belief, right, underneath that belief system. So when you put it out there, you will first see, like, for instance, who do you attract? You may not attract your $1 million, but what you may attract are $1 million earners to coach you, to mentor you. These are watching for the signs that the universe is delivering, but you are in. And you, the listener, all of us, when we put something out there and we commit, we say, that's what I want. Now I'm ready to go get it, right? What happens is you have to go through an incubation period. Right? It's like a seed underneath the soil. It's got to lay its roots. There's going to be some lessons. There's going to be some dark times that are going to come with your request, because it's going to train you. And then as soon as you pop, as soon as you break ground and you hit light, exponential growth. You'll be fruitful, you will multiply. You're right? You will go in ways that you can't even imagine. It'll grow beyond.
Imagine. Yeah. That's so true. You just can't.
I wanted to interject that because as people are dreaming big, that they recognize that as part of the process. And commit yourself to 5 years for your game plan.
Whoa, good advice on that one.
Yeah, 5 years. No little nonsense commitments of I'll give this a try for 2 months. Not long enough. 5 years incubation. Your first 3 years, you will probably not be good at what you do, and you will probably stumble, and you will make mistakes because that's your incubation time. Everybody must go through it. It's a law of nature. Seed has to go through it. 9 months in the womb before you're allowed out, right? 7 weeks for a carrot. There's always an incubation period. So the most people just never last long enough through the incubation because they see all the hard times and then they go, oh man, it's not working. No, it is. It's working. You got it. 5 years. 5 years.
Oh, yes. Stick to it. Keep that dream alive. You know what? Sometimes we have to like do little things along the way too. You know, like sometimes you may have to go, I don't know, do something to earn a little bit of income to keep you going, but just keep that faith in yourself, because sometimes when you have a passion, keep that passion. Surround yourself with people that have that passion for you as well. So you may have to, sometimes we kind of lose some friends along the way because we have different ideas of directions we should go in. So sometimes, you know, our friends are going to change. But when you lose one friend that doesn't support you, you gain 3 that do. So
yeah,
don't line yourself up.
absolutely. You have to really surrender. And you know what? You know, Penny, like I chalk it up. It comes down to faith. From my perspective, it comes down to your individual ability or capacity to believe that what you want will come to fruition. And the only thing that stops you from that is some internal nonsense in your head. Some sort of little voice belief system programming that you have picked up along the way through past hurts, through traumatic experience, to times where you wanted to cocoon and protect yourself and say, I never want to feel that way again. I'll never risk myself like that again. And so we cocoon. But that is where forgiveness comes in, letting the past go, being present in the moment and realizing this is it, right here, this is it, and whoever I'm being right now is what will come into my life. Just remember, as you're going on your journey, incubation period. There will be one.
Well, you know, I'm so glad you said that, because many times we kind of don't even talk about that. You know, and when you were talking about that, it's like, okay, so you plant a tomato seed, right? You know, you don't get a tomato the next day, right? It's got to come up, and then it's got to grow the stalk, then it's got to get the leaves, then it's got to get the flower, then the flower's going to develop into it, and then it's got to ripen. So that is a whole process, and our dreams come along the same way. And so, my goodness, I'm just going to acknowledge this has been so much fun.
I've had a great time.
Watching from Australia, so hi, Linda, and Tana Marshall, Judy, Gary, Carl. Oh my goodness, we have quite a few people out in the chat room here.
Awesome.
Okay, so before I come back for your final words, this time just flew by. This is yeah, I know, we might go a few minutes over. So this has been the Hangout with Penny show, episode 18. Thank you very much for making this a habit. Next week on episode 19, we're going to talk about is it possible to maintain or even reduce weight during the holidays? Hey, it is possible. So I have a really wonderful guest. We're going to talk about that next week. Just a little reminder, I do have a G Plus community. There we go. Go on over there. Join up. And to watch the live show, there's my website there. Just go over to my website and sign up there, and you'll be sent the live link every week, and then the recordings. So that's another thing you can do. And some couple of things in the works for me for January, the new year. I'm going to be running a couple of programs. One is Design Your Life, an intentional way to create your best life, and also a mastermind program. So stay tuned for those upcoming things. I'm excited about that. And yeah, So this has been episode 18, and I just love hanging out with all you on Friday nights. So Nick, this has been wonderful. Come back out, and what kind of final words do you have? And I just want to touch on, I watched one of your YouTube videos. Like, you're just so amazing to watch and listen to. You have so much passion and drive and desire to help youth and help parents and help teachers, and I just admire you. I really do. I admire you so much. But I watched one of your YouTube videos, and you have it says how to stay positive in a negative world, and you had 3 points that you said. So can we just touch on those for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I still may need you to remind me the 3 points that I gave on how to stay positive in a negative world, because truthfully, there are many different ways to do that. But specifically, I believe in that video I gave 3 specific points. The first one was gratitude. Yeah?
Yep, absolutely.
That's always on the list. No matter what 3 I give, the one that's for sure is gratitude. And I recommend a small gratitude process in the morning. You get up in the morning, you pick 10 things you're grateful for. If you're not feeling that grateful, do 5. It doesn't really matter the amount you do, it's that you do it every day. Remember, it's habits, 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 habits. Programming yourself is about creating habits. The better habits we create, the better quality of life we have. So that's number 1. Number 2, what was number 2 on that list?
Be on the lookout for opportunities to help someone.
To serve, yes, of course, right? So be on the lookout to opportunities to serve others. So what do I mean by this? So you don't have to go out your way. A lot of people think, oh, how am I going to contribute to others? Maybe I got to go volunteer my time and things. And that's hard for everybody, you know, moms, stay-at-home moms, singles moms. That's difficult, but you still want to contribute, because contribution and helping others serves us in so many ways. And it just makes us feel good. So look for ways to just open up a door if you have the opportunity, help someone with the groceries, give a smile. I do that all the time. I walk down the street and I just smile and say hello to people, and I watch their reaction. It's like, did that guy just say hello to me? Oh, hi. Do I know you? No. I'm just saying hello. Right? So doing this type of thing will brighten up your day and keep you positive, even though everybody around you is going to be negative. Have fun with it. And the third thing is ask questions.
Yep.
I kind of started off with that actually today when I said I started asking myself different questions.
Yeah.
Start to ask yourself different questions and start to ask other people different questions. Instead of saying, how you doing today, every time you see the person, or, yeah, so what about that weather, eh? Right? Get creative with your questions. Ask yourself something different. This will spark new ideas and thoughts in your head, which will also help you stay positive. When we have an engaged mind, we have a mind that's a positive mind.
Ah, I love that. Okay, so do you have any final words? I know I kind of like sprung that on you because I just thought it was so important. I loved it so much. So do you have any final words for our viewers?
No, just thank you so much. But I would say visit me at nickpereira.com, and you can link to my Facebook page and like my Facebook page, because every day I'm always updating new videos, and like a lot of those videos you watch are all on my Facebook, and I'm daily updating my Facebook page. It's one of the best ways to follow me. So if you like what you heard, follow me.
Oh, I love what I heard. So in one word, I don't know if it's possible, the secret to be, do, and have anything you want. What would be one, if you had to say one word to that secret, what would it be?
Believe.
Ah, yes, that's the word I was thinking of. Believe. Because if you had a magic wand, that's another video that I watched. I think it's your intro. So, and I have a magic wand, so I believe. Oops. Almost broken. So my final word for everybody this evening is enjoy your story. Enjoy it. It doesn't define whatever we're going through right now. Doesn't define who we are. We're all loving, beautiful, perfect people already. Some of our stories are a little more dramatic than others. Some of them are more hurtful. Some of them, but at any time, when we can become aware that we can change our story and we can start living a life of our dreams. Remember, the gestation period, it takes time, and it's possible. And I think when I can have guests on my show, such as Nick, who has gone through a very dramatic change in his life and has gone out there and has dedicated his life to teach our youth how important this is. And I mean, you work with families, you work with businesses. I know you're you're right across the board with everything you do, and you travel the country. And I admire you. I just want to admire you. So Nick Pereira, how do you say your last name? Pereira?
Pereira, yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So I highly recommend you follow him and listen to him. He's a brilliant man. So having said that, this is episode 18, Hang Out with Penny Show. I have some champagne to drink because we have lots of celebrating. We're going to celebrate our next big dream. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next Friday. Bye.